Last game we're going to talk about Texas going to College Station and absolutely handing Texas A&M their lunch and then some. I mean, on the ground, they could get whatever they wanted. Third down conversions, they were chalk. They were easy, right? Early in the game, you thought, oh, A&M, they had some nice stops there, and they drove down the field and just did not convert. You had the ball inside the 10 twice. You had 0 offensive points for the first time in Kyle Field since the 70s for a team that, you're directly competing with, right, for recruits. This whole time from the outside looking in, you're like, hey, look, that Texas team, they don't have to play in the SEC. And then in their first year in the SEC, they make it to the SEC championship and then beat you at your home field. Yeah, it was not a great look for Texas A&M this week. Overall, I think a good season for Mike Elko in his first year. I mean, if you look at other SEC coaches in their first years, the only people who had more wins than Mike Elko that are active coaches in the SEC in their first year were Kalen DeBoer and Brian Kelly. Uh, two pretty well tenured coaches themselves with pretty solid resumes. Whether or not and Brian Kelly won the SEC, in his first year, which is impressive. Kalen DeBoer, as frustrated as people are, I think it'll get better for them at Alabama. But yeah, I think good season for Mike Elko. Just frustrating because I think expectations were recalibrated when you were 7-1 and 5-0 in the SEC. So it does hurt A&M fans. I get it. It does hurt a lot. And for Texas, good job because this was the win on the schedule that you can hang your hat on and be like, this is a good win. On the road against a pretty solid team that's ranked, that was competing for a spot in the SEC championship. Because other than that, all you had heard all year long was, oh, our schedule this, our schedule that. You and I both took A&M to cover the spread in this game. You took Texas to win, though, straight up in a close game. And the score was 17-7, but man, it could have been worse. I know A&M didn't score on the 1 yard line, didn't score on the side of the 10 yard line that one time. Okay, yeah, I get that. Okay, so it could have been the other way. It could have been closer, even than it was, but at the same time, Texas dominated this game.
Yeah, to me, I think. Well, you obviously nailed it. You were there. You're pretty tapped into both these programs. But to me, the reason why I took Texas is I didn't think A&M had the dogs to close out a game and win key games, key plays when you need to, when it's going to be such small margins, even at home, and they couldn't. Right, a couple fourth downs here and there,
Yep.
both ways, all basically went to Texas. Texas was 1-1 on fourth down, including I believe a touchdown on one of them, and then
It
Texas
was the Arch Manning
Arch Manning
touchdown.
touchdown, and then Texas A&M 0 for 3, three brutal fourth down conversions. Obviously, the interception was brutal for Texas A&M as well early in the game, but Texas also handed you back opportunities to come back and win that game. The block punt as well was fantastic. To me, I look at Texas, I'm like, yeah, that offensive line is playing like that, and that defense is playing like that. This is a very dangerous football team. But again, I do think Quinn Ewers and this passing game and maybe the receivers you thought you might have had early in the season, maybe they're not quite as good as you thought they were. Bond was held without a catch. Golden, yeah, he had a couple nice, long catches, but that was really more schemed up. I think when you get into teams where there's really good depth all along every level of their defense, it could be a problem for Texas. This A&M defensive line, one that we talked about being one of the better in college football, right? Let alone just the SEC, and it was disappointing. And you kind of got manheld, yes, by a bunch of NFL players as well, but you were also NFL players as well. You have NFL bodies, elite athletes, and hope and supposed to be elite schemes. And I was disappointed with what they were doing with their linebackers, what they were doing with light boxes, and just even personnel decisions on first and second down. I don't know, man. It was frustrating to watch A&M do that because you did think, yeah, they're here and there a couple plays. And for Marcel Reed, I mean, he's just limited right now. He just is. I think you have to come to that if you're an A&M. And I want to say this too is, I know I'm not tapped in the program. I don't see that. I'm not, but I do like to follow them pretty closely in the SEC. I think if you want to win an SEC championship game next year or the year after, you're either going to need significant improvement from Reed, or that quarterback is not on the roster right now. And we'll see what happens in the portal. You've got some options already, and who knows what will happen later on. But I mean, with Reed missing guys, just guy after guy, making bad decisions, the fumbles, the interceptions. Yeah, a lot was put on him because you couldn't run the football with Daniels, and Owens was not fully healthy, and obviously Moss is gone. But I don't know. I think you need significant overhaul of your skill positions at A&M, and that offensive line too might need some to be reworked as well. But yeah, I think for Texas, this is a big win for them. I mean, huge win. I do, like you said, year one with Mike Elko, still successful. I think it will bear fruit. It already is in recruiting. I think it will continue to bear fruit. I think also, knowing like that taste, right, that was going on College Station, like we were there, it was a bitter one, right? I do think sometimes you need that to kick in the groin and start figuring things out, organizationally, funding wise, and maybe to realize, hey, we're not that close. We thought we were this close, and maybe we're not. We still need a couple more things to get to that spot. I think Elko's the guy to do it, and we'll see what happens.